Welcome to Swish, vintage finds for your sassy self. We hope you enjoy the videos and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hi everybody. So welcome to my basement and my laundry room confessions. This is actually kind of funny that I did a video yesterday, which was this video, but there was some really bad humming in the background, like a feedback of some sort. And I know that a lot of people already say that our quality of videos is not the greatest, so I am going to redo the part 1. So even though this might not have as good of flow as I would like, yesterday's flow was perfect, but that humming sound, I could not make it go away. So as you know, with Swish, we get a ton of clothing in the shop, and the bulk of it, 95% of it, is washed, if it can be washed, or it's dry cleaned. Dry cleaning often is the best way to go, especially with wools and finer garments and silks and things like that. But recently we have received a couple of huge estates of clothing. One I did film and showed you in the garage, or my husband and I filmed. And the other one was a recent estate where the people had outbuildings, and in the outbuildings were clothes, which I find so odd that you would be on a farm and have, you know, buy all these things and then just stick them into boxes and put them into an outbuilding. So we got a lot of stuff that was dead stock. So lots of things still had the price tags on it. There was lots of things that were multiples. You know, they liked a pair of pants or they liked something, so they bought often more than one. The video I did yesterday actually showed the price tags on everything, and I don't have those price tags on things anymore, because what I did is I have since washed this first batch of clothing. When you see part 2's video, it's more spontaneous and it will have price tags and packaging on quite a few of the things. So I'm just going to jump in and I'll show you some of the items that that we got. This is like I said, this is kind of a funny estate because there is a lot of underwear. So they would buy it in bulk, I think, or 3 pair for 50 cents. There was a lot of stuff from Canadian stores like Army and Navy and McLeod's, and, you know, sort of less expensive places. And yeah, so I'll just show you. Now I'm hearing a ticking and I might have to go move this because it just dawned on me, you're probably going to hear a ticking and think, oh no, what is that interference? Well, I'm making rhubarb crisp upstairs and it's in the oven, and I want to make sure that that I don't burn it. So I might just move this ticking clock just a moment. There, that's better. Okay, so this stuff's also really, really staticky now because it's just now coming out of the dryer. So I sure wish that you could have seen the spontaneous video from yesterday, but anyways. So there's quite a few of these little house coaty type of things. So this is a nylon little house coat, and it reminds me so much of my grandma because she would have worn something like this. She also had one of those arborite tables with the vinyl covered chair, but she had a vinyl rocking chair, and she used to sit at the table in a rocking chair. Anyways, oftentimes I see these things and they remind me of family members, and we get that in the store a lot. We get people that say, oh my gosh, my mom had this or my grandma had this. So keep in mind, these were all new items. So there's a bunch of these sweet little slips in all different colors. They had very long, dangerous kind of original, I say original, like antique almost, staples, but they weren't really staples. They were these big pin things. And sometimes what happens with those pins is that they get rusty over time and they'll ruin the garment. So I took the pins out right away and threw these in the wash. So lots of these little slips. A lot of them retailed for 50 cents. There's quite a few shirts that are permanent press. You know, everybody remembers permanent press, where you didn't have to press it, although you're supposed to actually shake it out and hang it up while it's damp and not really put it in the dryer the full time, which I did. So I will have to steam these. There's lots of little slips. These are the little half slips. These are really sweet. They're actually on trend again. Lots of people are looking for slips and it's hard to find them in the traditional stores. This little set, let's see if I can uncling it. It's so staticky. This is a little baby doll set that's all sticking to me. So this is a little baby doll pink set that I wish you could see the whole thing. This had the matching panties, or it has the matching panties that were pinned to it. Now, keep in mind, I don't usually sell panties or undergarments unless, in this case, they are unworn, unused, that kind of thing. Here's a slip, another slip. Here's a blouse. I tried to wash everything all like-minded colors. The other thing I really like that's in this is these bloomers. So they're like a cycling short. I've had them in the shop before in cotton and wool or wool and silk, and they're just fantastic. I mean, now there's these modern companies that make these shapers. These aren't quite shapers, but these would be great just with the little tank top in the summertime, or people wear these as pajama bottoms. Anyways, these again had the original tags on them. Yeah, there's plenty of panties. I don't know if you can hear my my little chihuahuas upstairs barking away. The problem is they can hear me downstairs and they're wondering where I am, and so they're barking. I'm not going to bring them downstairs because they're kind of rascals and they'll get into everything. They're just puppies. Soon they will be introduced to you, but not yet. Anyways, lots of these sweet little slips. Let me see if there's something really unusual here. Well, this is not unusual, I don't think. This is another layered slip. Oh no, this is two slips stuck together. So here's a little shorty, really cute. These would be for a mini skirt almost, which kind of is, you know, when I think of mini skirts, I think of more risque and, you know, a little bit edgier fashion. I wouldn't necessarily think of worrying about them, I don't know, seeing the outline of my legs and having to worry about wearing a slip with it. But I guess, of course you would have a sheer slip. I mean, a sheer skirt just as much as whether it was long or short. Anyways, these looked so much crisper last night. Lots of slips. I like these ones. These have this pleated bust, the pleated fabric here, which is really, really pretty. It's just a much nicer, more feminine detail. This one's got a little bit of discoloration, so this obviously was not an unworn new one. You know, in the industry we say NWT, which means new with tags, and that's a real bonus for vintage clothing. And as a vintage seller, when we have new with tags, we normally leave the tags on and celebrate the fact that it's got the original tags and that it's new. But with some of this stuff, it was in an outbuilding on a farm. So it needed to be laundered. And it's also a little bit, you know, it was musty, it was a bit mothbally. So we lose the integrity of the new with tag classification in favor of cleanliness, which I think is a better thing with vintage anyways. Let me see, what else do we have? Oh, yikes, I was not supposed to put this in the dryer, but I think it's still okay. It's fared well. This is a sweet little 50s blouse. It's a sleeveless little blouse. It's got this little bow here, great little collar, and then it's got the buttons up back. This is fantastic, especially with you know, a fit and flare, full cotton novelty skirt from the 50s. This would be great. Or with a pencil, you know, those cigarette pants, also great. Very Mad Men. Some more panties. I think those ones go with that little negligee top. Let me see here. I had a corset. Here it is. So this corset or little girdle, oh no, this is not the one I wanted to show you. Oh my goodness. Oh well, we'll talk about this anyways. So this is a little girdle, and it's a great example of foundation garments that women used to wear. And it tells a lot about why the clothing nowadays seems so much smaller. And there's a variety of reasons for that, and we're going to do a little episode on that. But one of the reasons is foundation garments. You know, if you've got a dress that's a 24, 25, 26 inch waist, you have to also keep in mind that a lot of times they wore a panty girdle or a girdle, and that would just constrict you in tremendously. It forced you to have much better posture. You couldn't sort of stand slumped over. If you were wearing something, especially if it had boning in it, you certainly stood up straight and tall, and you made sure that you weren't bloated or, you know, slumped or anyways. Foundation garments were just a way of dressing. And I had a customer that told me about wearing a panty girdle when she went to college, and she said, oh, I weighed 90 pounds. And it was never about your weight. It wasn't, well, you were heavier, so you had to wear a waist trainer or foundation garments. It was just that it was inappropriate to see the shape of your buttocks. So you would wear a panty girdle, you know, over, you know, underneath your skirts, just so that you didn't see the unseemly look of your actual, maybe jiggly butt or something like that. It's fascinating. So whether you were petite or not petite, everybody wore them. So it's always interesting for us. Now, we did a video when we were in Vancouver where we went to Lace Embrace in Vancouver, and we met Melanie Talkington, and she has an antique undergarment museum in her store. So she's a corseteer, and she talks all about the history of lingerie and everything, which is really fascinating. I recommend that you take a look at that video. So I can't quite remember what all I showed you yesterday and what I didn't show. This particular batch of laundry just seems to be a whole lot of underwear. So maybe I will grab a couple of things that might have, let's see. Here is a pair of dead stock 70s striped cotton pants. These would be something that you would just wear with a pair of sneakers or something. These still have the tag on them. These are really fantastic. These were not part of my laundering from yesterday. All I did last night was the pastels and the nylon. It's rhubarb crisp time. All right, well, I am going to keep this video shorter, and I'm sorry that it's not as exciting. Well, you have to just take my word for it. It's not as exciting as the original one, but you can watch part 2 and see some more of the dead stock from that collection of outbuilding things. Anyways, so wish me luck with my rhubarb crisp, and hopefully this video is better quality than the last one, and have a great weekend. It's almost 4th of July. We had our Canada Day yesterday, so happy birthday to both of us, and we'll see you soon.